even friendship. But it was none of these things initially, nor was it simply an association of convenience. It was one of several partnerships that each man made that mattered. Partnerships are often limited. They can be dissolved. Alliances take things a step further. Genuine alliances are indivisible. In deriving its strength from the life metal of both men, this alliance set an example and a precedent that would outlive them both. Why did this alliance work so well? Was it the product of crisis? Or were the two men predestined for mutual sympathy? Upon what was such sympathy based? Churchill had come to power after a long and complicated political career. Many people mistrusted him. He was an embattled man facing a losing war. The king came up unprepared, unconfident, and perhaps unwilling to rule. On the face of it, the two would appear to have inspired little hope, but history suggests otherwise. Churchill could not have been the leader he was without having had so strong a working relationship with his monarch. The king, and more to the point, the monarchy and the British nation, could not have endured the war without it. These points may have more to do with the essence of modern leadership than with its exercise by this monarchy or any single leader. It has been said that today's world is leaderless. The observation tends to conflate what leadership is with what it does. How do leaders earn trust? How do they collaborate with rivals? How do they come to know themselves, their strengths, weaknesses, and vulnerabilities? How do they manage to find what they most need from others without appearing weak and flawed? If they succeed, is a fall from popular grace inevitable? Even the Churchills of this world have limited and diminishing capacity to rule. Power usually falls after it rises. In the race to preserve it, how do they make use of allies, adversaries, interests, habits, perceptions, and expectations while maintaining or furthering their own unique, innate character, which, in most cases, compelled their urge to lead in the first place? And how do they go on to mould, meld, and adapt that character with that of others, and to augment it? Students of history learn something when they set out to understand the past: that it is never complete. It is a perpetual argument, or what Churchill called a scenario without an end, filled with puzzles and gaps. Because it is impossible to recreate the past entirely, there are no time machines. New attempts, no matter how exhaustive or repetitious, will always raise new questions and complicate the ones that have been asked and answered. And they will always contain holes. The world does not need another hagiography of Churchill or the royal family, and this book will be that for neither. We have been told more about Winston Churchill than any other human being, Max Hastings has written, with some license, yet much remains opaque because he wished it thus. The King's official biographer, John Wheeler Bennet, posed it in the form of a question about Churchill over 40 years ago. Has not every aspect of his protean career been covered, and amply, either by himself or by others? A generation hence, the answer to Wheeler Bennet's question may well be no. After poring over the same anecdotes, aphorisms, speeches, and quarrels over who said what exactly and why, it appears that so obvious and apparent a relationship, that between the Prime Minister and his King, has been taken for granted, with studies by David Cannadine, Philip Ziegler, and Robert Rhodes James being among the very few perceptive exceptions. It may seem strange or unwise for an American who has never been enamoured of British royalty, or of Winston Churchill for that matter, to revisit them. Both paths have been well trod, to put it mildly. But once I began to think about them, I was struck by the gap hiding in plain sight. Why has so little been written about what went on between these two important figures, and how did that affect history? This relationship was important. Both men were champions against adversity. Each had lived with it his entire life. Both nearly died from it. It brought them together as much as any other factor, person or event, and it merits recognition in its full